When I say the word Bitcoin, many of you might think of scam or trading or money laundering, but I'm here today to show you that Bitcoin could be a crucial tool for freedom fighters and activists like me. My name is Anna Chekhovich, and I'm an activist from Russia, living and working in exile. I serve as a nonprofit Bitcoin adoption lead at the Human Rights Foundation and as a financial manager of Alexei Navalny's Anti-Corruption Foundation, the leading opposition power of Russia. I joined Alexei Navalny's team in 2017 when he decided to run for president of Russia, and he became a main enemy of Putin and the main threat to his regime. Working in Russia back then was quite challenging for us, and our organization had to constantly deal with attacks of Russian government. From surveillance and police raids to arrests, assassination attempts, kidnappings, and even murder. Alexei Navalny, the leader of Russian opposition, was killed in a Russian prison a year ago after spending 3 years mostly in solitary confinement. As a financial manager of the Anti-Corruption Foundation, I had to deal with the government constantly attacking our financial structure. I took this screenshot in January 2019 during my regular working day in Moscow, on the day when I had to pay salaries to our employees. So I logged into our online bank, and this is what I saw there. There was a negative balance of almost 1 trillion rubles on our bank account, which was approximately minus $14 billion at that moment. As a financial manager, I was shocked, I was terrified. Imagine just a moment ago, we had all of our savings on that bank account, and I had to pay salaries for more than 200 employees that day. And just like that, a moment after, everything was gone. Russian government realized that freezing our funds is an effective tactic to shut down our movement. They did it to us many times, and every time it was very challenging for us to find a solution to continue operating. Eventually, people were afraid to receive any money from the Anti-Corruption Foundation. When we were organizing a protest rally in the city center of Moscow, no one wanted to provide us equipment such as stage, microphones, speakers, simply because no one wanted to be paid by us for their services. Because everyone in Russia is well aware that the banking system is completely transparent and completely controlled by the government. That is why in 2016, the Anti-Corruption Foundation turned to Bitcoin, because back then we realized that it wasn't safe for us to keep all of our money in Russian rubles. We realized that the government was going to weaponize the banking system and use it as a tool against us. And each time when our bank accounts were frozen like this, each time when we lost our money, we could always use our Bitcoin savings to continue operating inside the country. But eventually, things became more complicated for us when we had to relocate our foundation from Russia to Europe, where we continue our opposition work now. Since Putin labeled us an extremist organization in Russia, it is now very dangerous to donate to our organization from Russia, because for a single donation, a Russian would face up to 8 years of imprisonment. Sending money from abroad, from Europe to Russia, is also not possible anymore through the banking system, because since Putin invaded Ukraine, Russia is facing financial sanctions, and the entire country is being completely cut off from the global financial system, which makes it absolutely impossible to make financial transactions from Europe to Russia. But at the Anti-Corruption Foundation, we need to have this opportunity to send money to the country, to support political prisoners, their families, to support activists who keep fighting against the regime inside the country. That is why for our organization, Bitcoin remains a lifeline and a crucial tool in our daily financial operations. But unfortunately, the story of the Anti-Corruption Foundation is not unique. Today, 72% of the world population lives under authoritarian regimes. Thousands of freedom fighters, activists, nonprofit organizations, independent media, journalists live and work in exile everywhere in the world, and they face similar situation, being deprived of access to traditional banking, and they're facing financial repressions. Western NGOs who would like to support activists that fight against dictatorships on the ground in different countries, they cannot support them financially because they're very well aware that their financial aid, their bank transfer will be immediately stopped and arrested by the oppressive governments. But I know very well that the solution exists. With my experience of navigating a nonprofit organization under financial surveillance and repression, I decided to join the financial freedom team of the Human Rights Foundation. Our financial freedom project empowers activists with tools like Bitcoin, money that dictators cannot stop. At HRF, I educate activists and nonprofit organizations on how to incorporate Bitcoin and other financial freedom technologies into their work to operate safely, privately, and without fear. I lead a quarterly webinar that I designed specifically for freedom fighters, where I educate them how to use Bitcoin wallets, how to exchange Bitcoin to local currency on the ground in hostile environments, and how to launch a Bitcoin-based crowdfunding campaign to support their movements. In 2024 alone, I educated more than 300 students, both online and in person, from more than 50 countries all over the world. It's not only Russia that is facing that situation. I educated people from Belarus, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, China, Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and beyond. And with the rise of authoritarianism worldwide, I see that the demand for my education is growing rapidly. Many realize that Bitcoin can actually empower freedom fighters, and it can save their movements from repressions. Financial freedom is not a privilege. It's a necessity for those fighting against tyranny. Having access to money is a human right that I'm fighting for. So if you would like to learn more about how oppressive governments attack activists with the help of the banking systems worldwide, and how activists use tools like Bitcoin in their work, I encourage you to join my upcoming webinar on the March 17th, where you will meet activists and you will learn more about Bitcoin, and you will learn how to use Bitcoin as a financial freedom tool. Thank you so much.